Well, hi, my name is Jen Halliburton, and I'm the Church and Community Engagement Director at Olive Crest for Orange County and San Diego region. We're working with all kinds of at-risk families. So what does it mean to be at risk? One, I would say that often reports of child abuse and neglect are the two main causes that would cause a child to be removed from the home. Now, however, Olive Crest works with so many more programs besides just foster youth. So many of the families we're serving may just be lacking resources and support. So we work, with a team to come alongside these families and to resource them so that they can do what they need to do to be the most healthy parents for their kids. I think it's a misconception often that people think, we'll just remove that child and let's write that family off and let's have that child be adopted. And some of the most incredible testimonies that I get to hear and working really closely with our case managers is when you see these parents who've been separated from their children, but they do what's been asked of them. And does that always happen? No. And is it a long journey? Yes, but aren't all of us on a long journey towards redemption and reconciliation? And we're all in that process. And so what I'd say is we want to do all we can to give them that chance. And that's why we really talk a lot about reconciliation and foster care. We say at Olive Crest, everyone can do something. What's your something? And we categorize it as an invitation to respond in one of three ways. So I could respond and be a family, and I could actually open my home to becoming a foster family or a safe families family. Or my something may be that I want to support those families. I want to be a friend to them, and I want to care for those families and serve them in tangible ways, bring meals, offer to babysit, offer to carpool, so that they can really focus on those kids in their home. Or there's an incredible invitation if your something is, I want to be a champion, I want to be an advocate, I want to volunteer and serve, I want to give financially, I want to be a prayer warrior. Every person can respond. And I feel that what would move the needle is if we all really made a decision to stand in that place and to say, I'm a part of this solution. God in me, the Spirit empowering me, I get to be a part of this solution and not looking at, the county or the government to solve it. We as believers get to be a part of that solution. And it doesn't need to be about Olive Crest. So if God is speaking to you about at-risk youth and families, I encourage you to start to pray and say, God, show me how I can participate. And there are going to be at-risk youth no matter where you live. Unfortunately, this is the broken world that we're in. And I guarantee that God will faithfully lead you to a tangible way to serve and meet real needs and to get to participate in His kingdom come. This last Christmas season, what I would say is, we saw God supernaturally provide for every single child in our program abundantly. And in this COVID season, to not have to be concerned with, will there be enough resources? Will these kids have yet another thing that they're missing out on? I mean, God's generosity just blew open the doors, and through our church partners, Eastside being a huge one, throughout all of our programs to meet every single need abundantly. And so that always grows my faith when I see God's faithfulness there. What I would also say is I believe every single time that somebody says yes to become a foster family or a safe family's host family, it's a miracle because it's countercultural to lay down your life and to open your home. So every time I hear about it and I get to meet our foster families or safe family host families, my faith grows, and it's such a reflection of Christ. So when I think of the joy that we get to experience in serving these amazing needs, I immediately just thought of a story of one of our youth that's a part of our Safe Families program. And this sweet girl just turned 15, and she's been hosted throughout the year. Actually, one of the families through Eastside that you guys have been supporting has hosted her. And just a couple weeks ago, it was her 15th birthday, and her mom reached out and said she really needed that weekend. She really needed that mental space and that break. And the family that was hosting her took quinceañera pictures of her. And she had this amazing dress, and they got her balloons and flowers. And they had a friend who was a photographer. And they made this girl feel like just an absolute princess. And she was so proud and felt so safe with this safe family. And her mom just felt so loved to know that her daughter was not just in good hands, that she was celebrated and honored. First of all, I would say, what doesn't Eastside do? I mean, again, I feel like you guys are our absolute critical partner, and we know that we can reach out to you for any need. But what I'm so thankful for is your faithful partnership when it comes to, school time for the kids, providing backpacks, Christmas, beyond just even gifts, though, the ways that you've supported our transitional age youth and some of our apartments with furniture, with bedding, with just bare essentials that are needed for these kids, 16 years old, living on their own, and the way you just go out of your way to make it so special and so personal. It's just made such an impact for the kids in our programs. So I can think about the ways that Eastside has faithfully supported, our Easter baskets. I mean, just never forgetting our programs and our kids in need. And so what's so important for each of you that I hope that you're asking God is, what's in my hand? Like, what, God, have you uniquely gifted me with? And what are the resources that I have? And I want you to know that there's an opportunity for everyone, and they can be just simple acts of kindness that make such a deep impact. And just know that you are a part of a church community that is working so hard to meet real needs. And we have that relationship with Eastside. And I'm so thankful because you are the church that we know that we can reach out to and say, hey, here's what our staff is asking for. Here's what the kids are desiring. Some of our kids that have extensive trauma, they're needing some of these resources to help just in their brain healing. And we know whether it's art projects or weighted blankets, or it's more kinesthetic activities, that our counselors can have provided to bring healing. We know that we can reach out to you as our partners, and it makes a deep impact. So know that every single thing, it may feel like a small thing, but God is going to use that in powerful ways, and we're so thankful. So there's so many different ways that you can volunteer, and as I've continued to reference, our question is, everyone can do something. What is your something? There's an invitation, an opportunity for each of you to participate. And so again, whether that's to become a family, to step forward and say, I want to be a foster, a safe family, host family, and open my home, that is such a needed and an important way that you can volunteer. But again, maybe you really want to give your time and resources to support those families who step forward to open their homes. And there's so many ways that you can serve them, by meals, by tutoring, by transportation. There's so many ways. You can be creative. I encourage you, be creative. Talk to your small group and say, we really want to support these families, and God will lead you in that. And then as we talk about champions, we are always in need of champions. Those are our faithful prayer warriors, advocates, and those who are meeting real needs, like as we've talked about. What has God provided you with? What are your gifts and skills and talents? And let's be creative. Let's dream together. Talk to your ministry leaders, and they'll ask us, because we have needs of you, of the ways that God has uniquely gifted you to meet real needs, to show these kids that they're seen and that they matter.